George Washington gave you a little push the other night. I wonder if you could talk about his progress, maybe why he didn't play earlier, and maybe why he might play more now.
Yeah, George, is such an impressive young man. Even though he hasn't gotten as much opportunities as obviously he would like, he's just a very committed guy, always working hard, always in the gym extra. And he did. He came in, he was confident, and he helped. And I think he will get an opportunity moving forward. I feel like before is probably a little bit more of a situation when we had Delani and the number of guards that we had. He's really working defensively on it and improving. But now, there's a little bit of an all hands on deck, one. And then two, there's, this kind of difficult situation or circumstances presents opportunity, and hopefully he continues to take full advantage of it.
You normally, as far as your bench, I'm trying to remember years past, you would play maybe 8 guys total in the regular season and conference. You said all hands on deck. Are we looking at maybe 10, 11 on a regular now moving forward?
I think so. I think there are more opportunity for guys to play, and then more opportunity for guys to move, to earn more minutes or more opportunity during the course of the game. So that might be a practice. And then even if we play 9 guys, maybe it's a different guy because they've earned some time. When a season is progressing just as you want it to, you fall into a rhythm, and that rhythm is, generally, the rhythm benefits the team more than maybe introducing new things to the team. When you have challenges and things are difficult, then you have an opportunity to have other guys play and see what they can do and give guys a chance to compete for more and more minutes.
How has your rhythm changed coaching-wise now, especially with Delani out?
Yeah, I feel like, one of the strengths we've tried to have is consistency. And I feel like we have been consistent in terms of what we're trying to do and how we're trying to get our guys to be better. But all the things that come with a challenge create, whether it's opportunity for guys or trying to be creative or do something a little bit different. And so I feel like we try to stay in our consistent rhythm and because our guys have an idea of what to expect every day. And that's important. But you need to maybe change that rhythm up and just to create some things that might be a little bit different, or take a chance on some things that might be a little bit different to give you better results.
What did you see on film from St. Louis specifically with their matchup on VCU earlier this week?
Yeah, VCU really, even though St. Louis had a fair amount of points at the half, I thought they defended them very well, which VCU is a very good defensive team. St. Louis is a hard team to defend. Shoot the 3-point shot very well. 3 guys, I think, among the top 5 or 6 leading scorers in the conference that you really, really have to be. And they score in different ways. They can all shoot threes, but they're all a little bit different. 1 guard, 1 forward, 1 center. But I think that their ability to move and pass is impressive. Robbie Avila obviously really creates problems for everyone. And I think VCU's just ability, their length really was able to give them a little bit of trouble in the second half. So like I said, even though St. Louis scored well in the first half, I thought their defense was impressive in the second half. And you have to be really, really sound and solid, and also have a few things that you're not totally taken advantage of by Avila or Jimerson, or just their ability to score points in bunches.
Communication defensively, how much has that been talked about this week?
Yeah, a lot. And I thought we played. I thought we played a great defensive half against. Sorry, Bob. Defensive half against Rhode Island here. Then overall, a very good defensive game. I thought we played a good defensive game at St. Bonaventure. For us, that hasn't. They always complement one another. We just haven't been able to sustain good offense or scoring. We haven't been able to sustain scoring for long enough stretches. That puts more pressure on your defense, and you need to relieve that pressure sometimes by just having a flurry of scoring or multiple possessions where you do score, get to the free throw line, where you're continuing to put pressure on their defense.
Hey, Coach Mooney, how do you feel about the 5 years of eligibility under consideration?
I don't know. At some point, there's probably 4 years probably now seems like an arbitrary number because it's not tied to academics whatsoever. So I would assume it became 4 years because it typically took most college students 4 years to graduate. Now I think it's not tied to a typical college experience anymore in every way. So I think 4 is arbitrary, 5 is probably arbitrary. So I don't know why, of course, that wouldn't move to 6 or 8. So everything just seems wide open right now, and I don't know if that means 5 and a guy who has played 4, but does he still have a 5th if he graduated a couple years ago or stopped playing a couple years ago? But the numbers all seem arbitrary, and with every passing day, it seems like there's some kind of new rule or new modification of a rule. So I have no idea.
When you envision Richmond's basketball roster in coming seasons, could you share your thoughts on the breakdown between holdover young people that you recruited and incoming transfers?
Yeah. So this would just be theoretical, but I'd really prefer to have guys who are here for multiple years. We've had a lot of players who became very important contributors to great teams here, who really struggled in their first year or two. And so that's a little bit more the process that we've been successful with. Now, Jordan King and Delani Hunter are 2 all-league guards that came on transfer. But even, Neil Quinn and Isaiah Bigelow, those guys really played significantly better or contributed significantly more their second year. So we'd really like to have guys who are here multiple years. The biggest issue is that in the spring, everyone has needs. Everyone has scholarships. So you're really always, somebody might be in the transfer portal and the best offer they have is a Lehigh, and then by the end of the week they might have Clemson. And because everybody has scholarships that are open, so it drives the competition up. And then most teams have needs. And so then all of a sudden you say, well, we want to have multiple year guys, but a guy that you can get and is talented enough and good enough is a 1-year guy. So do you make a long-term decision and say we want to take the younger guy or the guy with more years, or do we take this decision because he's good enough to play? So in the past, we would have made the decision to take the younger guy with more years, but now there's no guarantee that guy will be with you any more than a year. So, what we'd like to do and how we'd like to build the roster are largely irrelevant to what we can do or will do in the spring because, one, we don't know if we're going to have 13 scholarships or 15. There's no guarantee that a freshman who comes in, who's a project and you're helping develop, stays through the course of his development. And then maybe the sure thing is more the 1-year guy. Even though you don't want to have your program be like that as much. So it just doesn't really matter what you want to do. It's just when, there's this pretend date that the portal closes, which it doesn't ever really close, that you have to, where are you that day? And then how would you like to go about your business and how do you feel about the current guys on your team?
If the revenue sharing comes through like it's projected to, do you have a number in your head that you'd see as a Richmond men's basketball salary cap?
I don't.
The school does at this point?
Yeah, I think that there's discussion, and I feel like the A10 is trying to guide schools into what they think will be an appropriate figure. But I don't. We've had those discussions, but there's not a final answer right now or an estimate. It's it's a little odd to think about it that way, and what the commitment can be from the schools in our conference, 15 extremely unique schools and who don't have that much in common. So I don't have that number right now.